Welcome to another edition of the Wedding Wednesday Report. My name's Kylie Carlson and today we are coming to you from Ripley Castle. So the scenery is stunning, the castle is quintessentially English, and all I need is my very own Mr. Carson and Mrs. Hughes to make my Downton Abbey experience complete. But this isn't Downton Abbey, this is Ripley Castle. So why don't we go inside and see just what they have to offer. So with any type of venue, you always have to look at the actual style of the venue, which is going to a degree, specify which theme you're going to go for. And with a venue such as Ripley Castle, there are many different choices that you can go with, but for today, we wanted to look at a theme that has been so popular in 2013 and a theme that we know is going to continue in its popularity through 2014, and it is, of course, Downton Abbey. Of course, in this particular era, in England, the style wasn't as opulent as it was in, for example, America, because obviously The Great Gatsby was around a similar time. But in England, people were still very much more reserved. Yes, things were opulent in the way that they lived, but they weren't extravagant in the way that they actually produced things. So we wanted to look at Downton Abbey today as a theme for a wedding. So what do I do when I'm with a wedding client? How do I find out what it is that they really want? Well, apart from the questions that I ask, and we will look at that another time, today I want to talk about something else that I use, another tool within my box, and that tool is that of inspiration boards. Inspiration boards don't have to be made up of all wedding images. You can take images from anywhere. Now, if we look at my inspiration board that I've created for my fictitious clients here who have chosen this Downton Abbey theme, you'll see that yes, there is a picture on there which shows a dining room, which is actually the dining room here at Ripley Castle. But the other elements I've chosen, not one of them actually shows a bride. It's just different elements from the era that to me screams Downton Abbey. So for example, as you can see, obviously I've got a picture of a dress there, and that is a dress that is very much reminiscent of that era and is something that probably somebody like Lady Mary would actually wear. Again, you can also see the cutlery that we've used there and the crockery and the plates that we've used. These are again very reminiscent of that style with the gold leafing on them, more than one set of knives and forks. It gives off the era of the 1920s. Then you look at other smaller elements such as the beading, the floral design, the gloves, the tiara. All of those to me give me a feeling of Downton Abbey. But the question here really is that how my client is perceiving it? Is that something that my client feels best represents Downton Abbey? So what I'm saying here is that the use of inspiration boards is really key when it comes to understanding your client's vision, because what you perceive Downton Abbey to be and what your client perceives that style to be could possibly be two different things. So I use a vision board with my client to pull together the ideas that I have to make sure that both them and I are singing from the same song sheet. There could be elements on there that just don't quite resonate with the client, or they may have some very different ideas about what they think was 1920s in England at that particular time. So as I say, the inspiration boards that we use really do help us to pull together the entire theme. They help us to eliminate any particular items that just don't sit well with the client, and they really help us to both look at the vision from the same perspective. Now, obviously, as we said, the venue is a very important part of that. And Ripley Castle is so themed in the way that it's built that there's very little that you actually need to bring in the way of big props or backdrops or anything like that. Those sort of things really aren't necessary because the beauty of the venue speaks for itself. So that brings us to the end of this week's Wedding Wednesday report. Next week, I'm still going to be coming to you from Ripley Castle, but I'm going to be spending time talking to Lady Emma Ingleby, who is the owner of Ripley Castle along with her husband, and we're also going to have a chat with the event manager here, Irene Freeman, who's going to tell us what it takes to plan an event somewhere like Ripley Castle. We'll be talking about the challenges, the history, and how you plan an event Downton Abbey style here at Ripley. So till next week, don't forget, if you want to become a wedding planner, stylist or designer, don't forget to check out our courses at www.weddingwednesday.com. weddingplanningacademy.co.uk.